Yeah. Hola.
Yeah. Hey Kiki,
Hi, hey
hey
everybody.
everybody.
How y'all doing? Weather is crazy.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Y'all, it is so cold in Toronto. It's -25 right now.
Oh wow.
It is brick outside. I feel like New York says that. It's brick right here. Yeah. hmm
Yeah,
hmm
I'm definitely not used to this. Snow, no.
Y'all have snow. I saw
Man.
that.
It's supposed to be like 14 degrees like in the morning. It warms up to like the 30s, but I was like, what you doing 14-degree weather? What is
Yo.
that?
Do you
Nothing.
guys normally get snow? Like, does Atlanta normally get snow or not? So nobody has winter tires, right?
I have all weathers.
Okay,
So,
okay,
okay.
okay. But now, see here, winter tires, they're not mandatory in Toronto, but in Montreal, Quebec, they are mandatory for like 4 or 5 months of the year. You have to have them. And then in certain parts, you have to have like the ice. There's like snow pick, I mean, like ice picks on like the chain tires.
Okay.
Yeah, like you have to have that in certain areas, but not in Toronto. Toronto is like your insurance premium will cancel your claim if you
Mm.
get in a car accident during the wintertime and you don't have winter tires, though. Yeah,
That's
it's
fine.
yeah, they're real serious out here. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I don't do cold. I don't do cold at all. So
See, I'm
it ain't
trying,
normal.
trying to like dip my finger real quick, you know what I'm saying? Like, holy.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yes. Okay, so let's go hop on in. Did you guys figure out what you guys were going to wear for different types of auditions? Like some looks?
Yes, this is like
Good.
my hip hop look right here,
Yeah.
you know? Sorry.
Um, yeah, so I wanted y'all to just start exploring that just because you're gonna pretty much be doing that forever. And it's just good practice, but just to know like what you want to feel and look like, what works, what doesn't work. It took me a long time to figure out my audition look when I was a dancer, like when I first started auditioning. So the sooner you get into that groove or like figure out what your thing is, the better. And then once you lock in, you stay in it. And if you start booking based on that look, like that's who you are when you show up into those type of auditions. So I just want to kind of really talk through auditions itself. It has changed a lot over the decades as far as the types of auditions, but I think overall the main one is pretty much around when you think about like cattle calls and stuff like that. Like I know they had a big audition here in Atlanta. They've actually had a few recently, but they had a big movie audition, and that what I would consider cattle call, even though it still was you still had to like be pretty much like registered or like you had to be on a list or they had to have known that you were going to be at the audition. So although it was kind of open, it still was like a private call, but it was still open. So private call is always to me the best auditions to try to be in because it's a private call, right? Meaning like somebody hit you up and you heard about it and you got on a list and you in there. Normally if y'all audition, this is typically they have it, but they don't really openly say is just kind of like a typecast. And the typecast is gonna either let you know if you fit the job or not. And it's fine if you don't, get kept, right? So if you go to an audition and they're like, oh, okay, you, please stay. Everybody else, thank you for coming. They probably did a typecast right then and there because they already knew, look, we need girls that are a certain height, or we need guys that's a certain ethnicity, or we need girls that has a certain type of hair color, or whatever, like whatever their type was. If they want a certain size, they want a certain like just a certain look, aesthetic, whatever. It's a typecast, and it's not personal. It's really just this is what the job is. This is the type of dancer that we're looking for this project. if you fit it, great. If you don't, it's all good because it ain't personal. It's just a typecast. And normally I look at it like, and any question I have, we'll always do them at the end. Just don't forget them. So any question that you have, we'll do it at the end of the sessions. So with the typecast, like most most artists, choreographers, creative directors, casting directors, whatever producers, they have already went through that. They already know what they're looking for this particular job. The good thing about typecast, even if you don't get kept, is that they saw you. So you might have gotten on tape or you might have even danced, maybe not. You're in front of somebody, possibly. So there's always an opportunity to, if not get this job, get something else that I am the type for. So I was like, I might not be the type for this job, but I am the type, like something's gonna pop up later and they're gonna remember me from that audition, and this makes sense. So don't ever look at it as a bad thing. Now, in the beginning when I first started dancing, and we get all dolled up and cute and took time to do my hair and makeup and got the clothes on, got gas in the car, trying to find somewhere to park, got my resume headshot, stood in this long ass line and signed in and got in this room and lined up with all these people for you to tell me thank you for coming. I ain't did no step, I ain't did nothing. And at first I'd be like, tight, like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, they may sometimes give you specifics, but if they ain't get specific and they said just show up and then you typecast me, I might feel away. And then I quickly get out of that because I'd be like, well, you should just be grateful that you got the opportunity to go to audition because this is what you said you wanted. You've been wanting to go to auditions. So sometimes we can't be picky. So it's a typecast. Granted, I didn't get it. Granted, I did all this, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, again, you might have got seen by somebody else for something else or made a connection with somebody that was at the audition. Definitely take advantage of networking. I mean, that's a perfect place to network. Oh, auditions is the greatest place ever because you see all of the talent and people that you want to work with, and there's always a connection that can be made. So look at it more so not just an audition, but an event or a networking social, whatever you want to call it. Take advantage of those situations. Don't just be like, ah, shit. Okay, oh, I'm going home. No, let me hang around. Let me build some more relationships up in here with whoever I need to see, whoever I need to talk to. So that's your typical, typecast, and it is what it is. Don't even get worked up about it. And if you fit the type, that's even better. So you know what works. And then you got to just start paying attention to what is booking, what's not booking. And figure out where do I fall in line? What things should I, like I said, be willing to figure out what you need for yourself to adjust. Is it something that I can fix that I know will help get me opportunity to get booked? What is that? So that's a personal thing. Everybody's is different, but just figure that out for yourself. And once you kind of see, for me it was my hair. Like when I first started booking, or when I first started auditioning, I just couldn't get my hair together. It was just like, okay, none of these looks is working. I was trying different folks to figure out what they thought, and then when I finally got the look, I was like, okay, this is working. And I started booking because now people will recognize me, or I became familiar as far as being like to be able to pinpoint you. So that's why the look is so important because you got to figure that out. If your look is like you changing it every week, every month, it's going to be hard to like get your signature look first. And then you can figure out the other looks you want to do later. So I would say, once you figure out your look and like you lock that in and it starts working where you are actually booking, then you have to have that look every time you show up to the auditions. You can't keep switching only because if somebody is remembering you from a certain look and then they see you're in front of them and they don't recognize you because they're remembering the look that they remember versus what your look might be. So my example is always, okay, if your hair is red and that's your look, and then all of a sudden you show up with blonde or you show up with jet black, but there's no coordination with the like how do I remember I just remember you with black hair. I remember you red hair, like, or vice versa. You got black all the time, and all of a sudden you show with a red bob. It's like, wait, I thought you was black though, because I can't remember. So until you get to the point where you are working consistently and you can afford to switch your hair up and people know who you are, cool, change your hair up. Go have at it. But until you have gotten to that point, it's important to establish the look. That's the look that I feel. I mean, that's the thing that I feel is sometimes the holdup on dancers like working consistently because they like start switching up too many times. And I'm a black girl, so I get it. We trying to switch up the hair, like, I'm bored. I want to change it. I need some color. I want to go blonde. I want to go red. I want to go pink. I want to go green. It's like, no, that ain't it. If I'm trying to establish myself signature now, think about your favorite dancer. I mean, everybody has their favorite dancer. There's something about them that's signature that is also with branding, but it's signature that them when you see them. It's like, oh, every time I see her or I see him, it's something about them that it's a connection. So you have to figure that out. And I'm telling you, when you do and you lock in, then you can go do all of the stuff that you want to do after. I had to figure out my hair, my look, like, and some people have it already. They know who they are. They locked in and they, what I'm saying? And that's great. And people know who they are, So figure that out. And, I'm just gonna be honest, like sometimes it takes some time. You can't just be done in 3 months and be like, I'm switching out. It's like, I had to wear my hair with bangs, bone straight for like a year. And I was like, I ain't switching because this is working. And people knew me from that look. So once you figure out what's working and it's something that's signature for you, you're comfortable with also, you know what I'm saying? It has to make sense, it has to feel good. It can't be like, this look is, that don't make sense. So that is going to be like the typecast. And whatever. Now, sometimes you do get a typecast and they are going to do the look for you. So you don't have to worry about dyeing your hair red. They might have red wigs, so everybody has on a red wig for this number. But you might be the right height, you might be the right ethnicity. And even with working with artists, be prepared. I was always the black girl fighting for the one black girl spot because they got the white girl, they got the Asian girl, they got the redhead, and then they got a black girl spot. Okay, so it's me and a bunch of other black girls. So not only are you typecast in that moment, but now you competing against your type. So we are the same type, but who's going to book the spot? So that will be a thing. So being able to understand and know that it's still not even really personal. It's like, yeah, what I'm saying? It's going to come down to something else, talent, or like whatever, what I'm saying? Just be mindful of that. So typecast is a thing. And then you have the private call. Private call is definitely the best, sometimes a good audition, because if it's private, that means somebody either personally knows you, you've been submitted for something, you've been asked to attend because they already know you, woo or whatever, or you fit this type. So now we want to bring you in, So typecast, private calls are great. And there's nothing wrong with those. Cattle call, it is what it is. Now, a lot of people don't like cattle calls. I ain't gonna lie. When I was dancer, it wasn't like the greatest feeling. But at the end of the day, it's still audition. So, you just have to, it is what it is. We say we want to dance and we say we want to pursue the career. But everything ain't gonna be just I call you and you booked on the job and that's it. It's like, no, you have to fight for this. You're gonna have to earn this job. It ain't gonna be given and handed over to you. So in times like that, when you do get a private call, a cattle call, and you actually attend the audition and you go through all of sometimes I'm telling y'all, some auditions be days. Y'all lucky. your little 1 day audition, try 2 or 3 when you got to come back the next day and relearn another number. Then you got to wait for the artists, the big name artists, to show up and pull up, and you got to dance in front of them. So it is what it is. It's more of those like, hey, I have to embrace this part because it's gonna show up. It's gonna show up regardless. I don't care how good of a dancer you are. I don't care how many jobs you've done. At some point, until you decide you don't want to audition again, at some point you're still going to be in a room with people that are judging you, that are deciding whether or not they're going to hire you for this project. So cattle calls is basically, as a dancer, you better experience it. You better say, I've done, I don't know how many cattle calls. You can't say you're a professional dancer pursuing a career in the entertainment industry and has never done a cattle call audition. It just does not exist. It's literally, to me, it's like a prerequisite to even say I'm a dancer. It's like, because everybody get away with, oh, I'm a professional dancer. I'm like, what have you done though? Have you gone to a 2 3 day audition where you've had to come back and you have to do the dance over and over and over and over again, and in front of the audition and the artist, in front of like, have you done that yet? Have you actually flown to another city, and been in a long ass line down the block, around the corner, with your headshots and your clothes and your bag outside in the sun? Like, there has to be, it's got to be some prerequisites to saying, oh yes, I'm a professional dancer. Because if you ain't been in a room with 600 people, 500 people, 300 people before, I don't know if it's a cattle. It's like, that's almost a private call. 50 people is not a lot of people. It's not. That's not a lot. 300 and fighting for like 1 2 positions. Yeah, you need to know what that feels like. So I always encourage everybody that does his program. They laugh. I said, I don't care where you are. If you hear about an cattle, if you hear about a big audition like Mary J. Blige, you know, we was getting folks up in that room to like, we was getting people in that room to get seen, to be able to audition. And I don't know how many people it was, but it was a big audition. So big auditions, you just want to go to. It doesn't matter if you feel like, I'm not gonna book that. I don't care. I flew out to Janet Jackson audition. I didn't have a clue what I was getting into, and just said, so go to LA. I don't know what's this, and got there and was like, wow, rude awakening, like culture shock for me. I hadn't moved yet, but it was definitely an eye opening experience. That's an experience you should have. It shouldn't even really be about the audition and trying to book the job. It's an experience. It's a training space. It is like, whew, okay, let me see where I'm at with everybody that's in the room. Okay, I need to work on this. Oh, my retention, or their choreography is a little different. I haven't had that style yet. It's like, oh, this is a little faster than I thought. Or, like, oh, the dancers here dance like whatever. And, whatever. Dancers from Atlanta will go to LA and people looking at them like, where you from? Because we don't move like that out here. And vice versa. LA come to Atlanta and be like, oh, so we gotta experience different cultures, but that only happens when you actually go to these type of auditions. You will never get that experience in nobody's class. I mean, we tried to duplicate it with the room, and it's still not even to the level that it really is in real time. So the more you get those type of like uncomfortable experiences, but so rewarding, so like, ooh, okay, got another notch in my belt, because you get through them. I've done Gaga, I've done Beyonce, I've done Britney, I've done Justin Timberlake, I've done Usher, I've done like auditions. These are auditions. Like, it's real with them in the rooms. Okay. That's a whole nother feeling. You're not gonna experience that until you go to those auditions. So don't be scared and then be like, oh, I'm not gonna go. Figure it out. If you can get there, get there. Miami, sometimes it'll be random auditions that y'all might hear about, but if you hear about them, and if it's like in your wheelhouse to make it happen, just for the experience alone, it's so rewarding because you won't get that nowhere else. You're not gonna get, you know, I mean, especially if it's an artist that you want to dance for. I mean, you say you want to dance for Chris Brown. I don't know. Chris Brown never has auditions. I don't know of him having auditions. But if he says I'm having auditions for dancers, I'm figuring out how to get there. It's like I just like a no brainer. I'm like, I said I want to dance for Janet Jackson. Oh my God, that was like my dream as since I was 8 years old. Janet Jackson's having world tour auditions in LA. It's like one of those movies or TV shows, you know, you watch and you see like, Mom, oh my God, Janet's having auditions. Like I want to go, you know, it's that whole thing they're playing here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all had those experiences or those moments. So whoever your artist is, it doesn't have to be a dance artist, but whoever it is, like don't miss out. It's got to make sense, obviously, and it's got to say, okay, is this worth it? It doesn't matter about. Don't think about booking it. I just want you to go to the experience. You won't ever know where you are amongst other dancers that are not around you until you experience those, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You might end up getting something that's attached to that. That just happened to a real dancer, which I'm excited to announce soon. But went to one audition for this job and didn't book it, but she booked another one. And it was in connection with that one. So it's like you don't even realize you might be auditioning for something else. And sometimes it's you telling the universe, God, that yeah, I'm really intentional about this. I'm go out here. I don't even know what's about to happen, but I'm gonna just do it and figure it out. Okay, maybe I don't get that, but it's something else around the corner. And it's like, oh, I had to go do that though. I had to go out there and do that in order to get that. That's how it works. It's never going to be, you get that and then it's that thing. It's like, nah, it's for a reason. So I urge you, I not even urge, I'm like, if you're saying you want to do this for real, you have to. At some point, you have to like make that commitment. So you know, whoever it is, whatever type of art, whoever. I'm not telling you who to audition for, but you know, I think most of the time, like sometimes when it's happening, I think the last audition it was like Jaquel had like a really big audition. Who did he choreograph for? It was. It wasn't like mega. It was another international. I don't know. It was a big audition, and They went to it, and they were like, they felt great. They felt good. It's like, yeah, you need to get that feeling too. Like they felt good because they were like, yo, I'm like we holding our own and you know, we got noticed. Oh, I think Richie Jackson. It might have been for Gaga. Had an audition. So it's like, yeah, you in the room with those type of dancers. Just being open to that. You know, I don't ever say limit your sites, but that alone is a game changer for you as a dancer. And if you talk about dance with them type of artists, you're gonna have to experience that. However, the nervousness, the anxiousness, the stress, things, all that, you're gonna have to, I need you to just go on, know what it feel like. Just go ahead, go through the feelings. Ooh, Lord Jesus, somebody going in this group with all, oh my God, everybody watch you. All that going through your mind. Yes. I just want you to, hey, it's happening. Yes, I gotta go with this group. This girl I'm dancing next to, this is verbatim. She said, oh my God, I was standing next to Jordy that dances with with Doja and like I don't she danced with everybody. She's like, and Nikki, I think she's Nicki Minaj. She's like, oh my God, I was standing next to Jordy. I said, exactly. You were in the room with her. You were standing next to her. You was in the same group. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then you be like, oh, okay, so it's happening. Yes, it's happening. It's happening. You gotta go do it. You gotta get the feelings out. And that's just gonna catapult you to the next level of where you're trying to go. There is no going to the next thing without going through that. There is no like, oh, I'm going to dance with Chris Brown. And you have not experienced a cattle call audition. Nope, it's not happening. I'm going to go dance for, uh, Everybody goes, ah, Beyonce is such the go-to, but I'm gonna go dance with Beyonce because some of y'all said Beyonce. I'm gonna dance with Beyonce, and you never experience what a cattle call audition feels like, or just that type of energy. But it's happening. So you got you got typecast, you got private call, you have cattle call. You have what I like to say is like, everybody at some point will get the call when they're like, oh yeah, they might be trying to replace a dancer. So, they trying to replace and you about to audition for the position, which is amazing. Okay, that's to me a dancer's dream. Hey, I'm calling you in for this audition. They ain't even gonna say audition. They gonna say, hey, we got rehearsal. Can you come in to this rehearsal? So you come to the rehearsal and you might learn a number. And if you book the job, great. You'll get kept and you start work. But those are like audition rehearsals. So it's good because they pretty much either if they're replacing dancer or if they already started rehearsals, they don't even have time for no auditions. They don't even have time for a private call. It's like we have rehearsals, we just need to bring some dancers in and figure out who's gonna do this job, And so that is it's still an audition, but it's still in your mind. You just want to set the tone of like, I booked this, so I'm coming in acting as such. I'm coming in as if I'm about to work and we about to go on do this show or do this tour, whatever it is. And you treat that to me, well, you treat all of it the same, but treat the rehearsal audition as it's good, even if you don't end up getting it, because whoever the manager, artist, director, producer, choreographer, whoever, they already have you in mind. So it's like, maybe it might be a budget thing, or maybe it might be, like, okay, we thought we was going to be able to use this person, but we'll do whatever happens. So it's all fine, but you in that scenario, which is what we want. So private call, rehearsal audition, great too, right? Cattle call, of course. And then, sometimes if you book like a TV show or even music video, I've done this on a music video where we actually audition dancers that are actually booked on it. And then there may be a bump up, or there may be like, oh, we need a lead girl, or oh, it's a TV show, and so y'all have lines. So two girls have lines. Who's gonna be the girl that's gonna say the lines? And we do an audition right then. And that could be a casting thing. That could be the director wants to audition you really fast for this scene, So just being like, even though you book, you still auditioning. Like, oh, okay, it's another audition. Okay, let me get my mind wrapped around that. I'm not just dancing. I am actually trying to get a speaking role. We always trying to get speaking roles. Always. That is always like, to me, that's always something that you want to set your sights on, not just being a dancer. Um, and then there's, which has been more recently since COVID, pandemic probably like put everybody at the crib. So we're doing a lot of submissions, self tapes, which has become the norm. It's crazy before that even with acting auditions, there was rarely self tapes happening as much as they are now. But it is here. It's a part of auditions, self tapes, submissions. If you are asked to audition for something and it's like a submission, do it. I don't care what they want you to do. Like it's, oh, I'm submitting for this. Do it. Get on tape. Get on camera. Somebody putting a piece together to submit for this artist. Do it. Like I can't tell y'all how many submissions I've done over the span of my career, and to this day still do submissions for projects, and whether it's TV, film, artist, that world will never go away. You're going to always be like, oh, I'm submitting for something, until you don't have to. But even still, when you don't have to, you still end up doing it just because. So if you get asked to do a submission audition, for instance, if an artist is trying to book a choreographer, they don't know what choreographer they want. So all the choreographers got to submit their piece for the artist to see and decide. Get on camera, get on tape, get on film, whatever you got to do. get on there dancing because that's essentially your audition too. It ain't just the artist. I mean, it ain't just the choreographer. If I'm on there as a dancer and I can get seen by an artist where the audition never existed, there was no audition. It's just they doing this for choreography. That's a way for me to get seen, not just by the choreographer or by the artist, but whoever else. If it's a label, management, whatever, I just want to get as many opportunities as I can to get on camera and to be able to be seen. Most of the time, if it's a TV show or a movie that needs submitting from a choreographer or dancers, 9 times out of 10, if it's a group, y'all gonna book the movie. I do submissions for groups all the time. And so if I'm submitting my choreo in a group, the group ends up booking the movie or the TV show. If they're saying, hey, this scene is going to require different, like, you know how they have like the competitions, like, oh, this like got like 5 crews and everybody submitted groups for to be one of the crews. They whoever crew they picking the whole crew. So all y'all gonna end up doing the TV show, the movie. I don't know how many crews I've ever done submitted for, but they all end up booking the movie or the show. So if somebody asks you, "Oh, can you? This is a mission coming up for this movie. Get on it. Get in it." And then if you are doing submissions, sometimes they have submissions that are live, which I've done a few. I actually did one for, I think it was Othan. She actually submitted, like Beyonce was doing live submissions. Like instead of you doing videotape submissions, she did live. So we're dancing in front of the actual artist. She don't want to see no tape. I want to feel it in person. So that means you rehearsed with the choreographer that was doing the submission, but then you perform it live instead of just filming it and sending a tape. So those are also great because yeah, you get to dance in front of the artist. You know what I'm saying? These are auditions that are like really just kind of being created within the settings, and you don't even realize it. You don't even understand like, oh, I just have my own little personal audition. Even if I don't book this, it could be for something else. Like, oh, who was a girl that had like if your look was together and you know what I'm saying? You got that freestyle moment, you got your signature move and all that, and you were able to do that just from a submission audition that this choreographer done put me in. Thank you. Thank you, because somebody saw me. Somebody saw me that probably wouldn't have seen me from any other time. So submission auditions are great. Obviously, self tapes are great when you're thinking about acting. Um, I mean, acting in person is great too. Those type of auditions, but they haven't. I mean, they aren't like. I don't know. I'm trying to even with Kennedy because she always has auditions, acting auditions. They don't have them as often. And then maybe commercial. They do still do like self tapes and in-person auditions. For commercials though, the same intention I would say you would want to think about depending on what the brand is, what the narrative is, be really intentional about the story, background when you're going into commercial auditions. Most commercial auditions aren't full throttle like a dance audition. So you don't have to go into this commercial audition thinking you got to bust and like turn. No, most commercial auditions, if it has like dialogue, if it's a script or whatever, just make sure we are connecting the acting into the dancing. If that makes sense. Don't go into commercial auditions to think about dancing. No, go into commercial auditions thinking about acting. Movement will be a part of it, but it may not be this full throttle 8 count. Right now, I'm working on a commercial that is like it's a food commercial, but they don't necessarily want all the 8 counts. They just want movement. So that's important to be able to articulate and tell a story with movement, but not think about choreography, right? So if you've never done that, you want to get into that world, start looking at commercials and even maybe pulling up, they might have some on YouTube. I have to look. Like if you are interested in knowing how did that person book that commercial? Because I'm always intrigued when I see a dance commercial. I see a commercial that has dance in it, and I know they're not a dancer, but I know they booked it from dance. I know they booked it though, and there's dancing in it, but they're not necessarily a dancer. So I would love to see their audition, like tape. So maybe start researching those types of auditions versus, yeah, when you go to Chris Brown audition, you already know you better be on a Billy. But this commercial for this food, whatever, yes, it's dancing in it, but I need to know what type of movement or how was the approach for this type of audition. And what are some of the things that I as a performer want to like start thinking about when I'm going into those type of auditions for commercials. Um, so of course, dance, commercial, acting, they all at some point, granted, if you get direct book, amazing. But if you do get called in to audition, I think the biggest thing that I always just like say to dancers is to like show who you are, your personality. A lot of times we have this unconscious, subconscious thing that we recluse or we kind of like go more into ourselves versus coming out more because we are either trying to be safe, or we're like, I know the dance, but I don't know it. Or, we're like, oh, like you might be somebody that kills it in class, but then you get to the audition, it's like, you know, so you also have to assess where you are when you think about auditions. It can't just be, oh my God, I'm a great dancer. And but I suck at auditions. It's like, okay, well, we need to work on your audition skills. We need to work on what is it? Oh, my retention is not great. So, okay, my retention is not great. What are some things I can start doing now that will help with remembering? Like if I know after about the fourth count of eight, I kind of like get a little lost or, whatever. You have to do that. It can't be I just go to class and just take class and then that's it. It's like, okay, for this class, I'm going to be super intentional that by the fourth, eighth count, I am like locked in, because maybe I might drift away or maybe I start thinking about stuff that's going on outside of the class. And so I kind of like get distracted. Whatever your thing is, you're gonna have to really dial in on that. If you are somebody that is like nervous about being in front, you always go to the back of the class or the audition. Okay, so go to class and get in dead front. Hey, I'm up in the front and I'm about to learn this combo, or vice versa. If you always got to be in the front in order to learn, sometimes you won't be in the front at this audition. If it's 500 people, you're probably gonna be in the back somewhere, hopefully in the middle. So how do I learn where it's a lot of people? What's that, what is that environment like? That's why I'm like, if you don't go to auditions, you won't know. So go to a class and just learn in the back. Your intention for this class is just to learn the choreo in the back and still execute and kill it because I'm always in the front and I always get it in the front. But have I ever gotten it in the back? Um, if you're somebody that's like, ooh, anytime the groups come, it's like, how do I overcome that? These are all just skills you're going to have to get better at if you are wanting to really do it on a level that you want to really do it on. If you're like subpar, okay, maybe you can get by. But if you like serious, like, nah, I'm really trying to get on the world tours. I'm trying to be on that level. Okay, I don't have to push something a little bit more. So in the audition realm, when it's time for me to audition, I have to stand out. So how do I stand out? I figured out my look. I know all my signature moves. I know, how to be in the room and all that. But then when it comes to the audition part, how do I make sure they don't forget me? How do I make sure I'm doing the best? Not say every audition is going to be you're gonna knock it out of the park. I've had auditions where I bombed, but I made sure that I didn't leave there without it feeling like, well, I gave more than I could have, or like, oh, I made sure my freestyle was extra, whatever, or I did something to put a stamp on it. So it's not necessarily always about the choreography, but most of the time they be trying to see something else. They know I can rehearse you, so I ain't tripping on you not remembering this A count. But do you know enough choreo that has me, okay, I feel comfortable that she might have forgot that last four count of eight, that last fourth count of eight, but okay, she majority of it, okay, she got that. Okay, what else? Okay, I noticed that he has like, personality. I like the energy. Oh, his freestyle was fire. Like, ooh, she just did a backflip. Okay, that's good to know. Like I can offer something else in there, but it can't be, I can do all these things, but I don't know no choreo. That ain't gonna work. So figure out your weaknesses, your strengths, work on those things so that by the time you get into the audition spaces, you're getting better and better. The goal is to just get better and better. The goal is not to be straight and I don't have no, every audition and situation, whatever type, private, cattle, type cat, whatever type of audition, I just want to get better and better to where when I get into the audition, I ain't tripping. Like if I get this or not, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna kill it. Not whatever. Like it ain't that. And then get to where you don't have to audition. They just calling you. Hey, are you available? I already know what you can do. We got to get to that point. We got to get to the point where people. I've done so many auditions for this person. They already know who I am. They know what I can do. They're not tripping if I have a bad day. They're like, oh, you good. Just taking your availability. You just have to just show up. That's it. Like we want to get to that. We got to get to that. If I know that my strength is this and my weakness is this, that's what I'm about to work on. My strength is looking like a star, showing up in the room, no doubt. Like I look like I'm ready to be on the video, on the tour, on the award show. Like I'm giving you that. So if I can show and look like the part, that's great. And then I'm going to work on making sure I can deliver and execute, whether it's dance, whether it's, my skill set, whether it's whatever, like working on those things. That will help shape up what you're trying to do. And then where you fall short, it won't be, you know, some of these jobs won't even require all the dancing. I'm just being honest. Some of these jobs be like, that's all we doing. We just gonna two step and then yeah, sure, we're gonna mm-mm-mm, bounce. We doing these couple of eight counts and that's it. It's not as all of the when you be it ain't gonna be that. It ain't gonna be that. It's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that. Especially in TV and film. It's definitely gonna be giving. This has to be easy enough for these actors to do. We are giving you this scene and this storyline. It ain't gonna be all that. And you're gonna be like, oh my God, like, don't stop training. But I'm just being honest. Some of these shows that I just don't be required. Doesn't require it. If you know basic, whatever the scene is, a waltz. Okay, everybody can do a waltz. I've done like cotillion scene. Everybody's in ball gowns. Y'all think y'all about to be busting all these egg gowns? No. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. A lot of it is not as difficult to book, especially the TV and film space. Even the artists, depending on who it is, it won't be all of that. Most of the time it's all of that when you have to book, when you have to go for like a tour, you're trying to book this tour. Or like if it's something that has like a lot of dancing and but if it's like an episode on a TV show, Sweet Magnolias. Yeah, they have a line dance in this scene, and we just everybody's gonna be dressed up, and we just need all the extras to do the line dance. Line dance, line. Oh, okay, yes, easy, breezy, and that's still dancers. It's still people working on a TV show as a dancer. So you know that that's all there. But while you have those jobs, you are going to have those other jobs that are going to require more. And you just have to decide, okay, I'm going for more too. That means I'm going to have to go and elevate some of this training part. Yes, I do want to go on a tour with a dance artist. I do want to. And every tour ain't got to be a dance artist, but you might be dancing, you know, for an artist that's not a dance artist, but you might have a lot of dancing on the show. Artists like Pink, she's super skill set is necessary, like necessary. There's no, you're not doing her tour if you don't know how to climb some silks or hang from the ceiling. It's crazy, right? So those are all things you want to think about when you say you want to dance with certain artists. Make sure you're mentally preparing what that might look like if I have to audition. What do their tours look like now so that I know, okay, yeah, they require this type of dancer. Okay, this is what I need to go work on. And and perfect just being able to show who you are in your auditions, whether it's a typecast or a catcall. Like, who are you personality wise? How can you stand out amongst everybody else? What makes you special, magical, like needed? Like, yeah, you gotta book me. What? Because if you don't feel that, it's hard to translate that, and it's gonna be hard for people to trust that you'll be able to deliver or be able to like, what I'm saying, make this job happen. If I book you for this job, are you going to deliver? Are you going to whatever that we need? You got to go in already knowing that, yes, I can do it. If you go in like, I don't know, they gonna know. They gonna be like, oh, I don't know. If you go into the audition and, I'm pretty sure y'all have experienced it where it's a lot, you're doing a number, you're doing this routine back to back to back. I have fought for jobs that is down to the wire. It's me and another dancer going head to head. Who is going to be the one that they're going to choose? They got to choose both. How about that? It's not an option. It's like, I'm going to make it win. You got to pick both of us because I ain't going out. Will Smith has a crazy line about I'm gonna die before I let this person get the job. He's like, if we both want, I'm gonna die first because I ain't gonna stop. Like I'm not quitting. So that is a mental space you gotta get to. So when you get to those type of auditions, you're not even. It's like you understand what it is. Are you prepared to battle at the end? Like, are you prepared? And that is a real question. Are you like, okay, if it gets down to the wire, and it's me and somebody else, have you mentally gone there yet? If you have not, I don't know if I can say, you can't be like, I'm ready to go dance with Chris Brown. Because it's like, okay, it's going to be between you and another person. It ain't going to be, oh, I booked Chris. And it was like nothing. It was no, are you prepared to battle somebody for a job? Just keeping it real. I have and when I say battle, I don't mean like we about to battle for the day. For no, like we're dancing. We are doing this thing over and over and over again, over and over again. And they can't decide. They're like, like they keep switching out groups. That's like it's hard. It's hard. They have switched this group out 5, 6, 7 times, and they still don't know who they want. And it's something that they're looking for, and it's not you trying to figure that out. It's really just you just got to keep showing up. So there's a stamina part that you have to incorporate into that level of performance. There is, just a whole mental space with the physical, but the mental part, you have to literally be already there. You cannot be still in classroom mode. You got to be, I'm already on the tour, so we got to make this thing pop. I'm in here, I'm in this audition, I'm whatever, but I'm already on tour. I'm already at the arena on stage. So, you just have to revert back to another space mentally. So it will help get you through that. That is another level, and I can't be like it happens all the time, But you want to know what that feels like. I've done it a few to know. It's not easy, but it's great when you push through that level of auditioning. I'm like, I'm always ready to go at the end. Like, I want to make it to the end and I want to be able to fight for it. Sometimes you get lucky and sometimes they be like, oh yeah, all you guys booked it and we're done. And then sometimes they like, all right, let's see it again. They want to see it again. So I'm just preparing you mentally for those type of spaces. And if you haven't experienced that, you do want to like, it's a real thing. So you don't have to be like, oh, I know y'all do that. Yes. Especially the bigger the job, the higher the stakes. Now that it's it's a real thing. But it's also great. It's necessary. It lets you also know that people really care about who they are bringing on to these projects and who's gonna deliver. And even once you get the job, it's like you're still auditioning. So we'll talk about that later. But it's like I'm still auditioning. I don't ever I booked it and then I'm still auditioning until it's over. Then I did it. Then I got booked. Until then, it's all up in the air. So those are like really kind of like your main auditions. You know, figure out who you are, tap into that really, really heavy. And lock in. If you're somebody that your personality is a part of who you are and your brand, you want to show up. That person needs to show up every time, especially in the audition space, because everybody's nervous. Everybody's like, I mean, nervous, but everybody's like, energy is like, so try not to have that energy. Try your best to channel a more fun. At the end of the day, we dancing. We haven't. You happy to be there. I'm like, yes, auditioning. I deep down, you might be nervous as hell, but it's like I always think I have optimism. I'm like, where I could be somewhere else that I don't like. How about that? I could be at a job or working on something that I hate. Meanwhile, I'm at this amazing opportunity to audition for this TV show, this movie, this film, this tour, this music video, whatever, commercial. So try your best to tap into that energy versus oh my God, oh, Jesus, I'm stressed. Ooh, anxiety, my nerves, trying to relax. Mm-mm, mm-mm, don't do that. Let's tap into, okay, it's gonna be over. It's not gonna last forever, even if it's a day or two. It's not gonna last forever. And just have as much of a positive outlook on it as you can, even though you might be stressed. I get it, but try your best not to let that be a thing, right? And then outside of the logistics of different types of auditions, I'll just tell you like some of my pet peeves with auditions. Okay, so spatial awareness is important. So just be aware of your spacing. If they've given direction on, hey, from 1 to 5, 1 up, 2 back, 3 up, or back, whatever, like whatever your group is, just be on it. Just be on it. Be on it. People, you'd be surprised. Everybody's paying attention to this stuff. Outside of the dancing, people are paying attention to this. Okay, do you take direction? Okay, you understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1 up, 2 back. Blah, blah, blah. As simple as that sounds, you'd be surprised. Everybody just be like, 3 is over there, 2 is over. No, in order, right? So you take the initiative. If you know you in the group, it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever, and I'm in this group. Okay, hey, who up, who back? Like I'm getting us together before we get up out here. We got to have our shit together. Just that's number one. Get that in order, okay? Spatial awareness is important. Um, you don't have to do too much to be seen, to get booked. You don't have to over audition, if that makes sense. Over audition means I did the dance, and then my freestyle is like all over the place. And then I'm coming standing on the table, or I'm like, I'm getting a little bit more in the personal space of whoever is looking, or I'm incorporating somebody that's in my group, and now I'm messing them up. It's like you're just doing too much, just doing too much. So remember that, like, there's ways to incorporate spatials and stuff like that, but without feeling like you're kind of just all over the place. Because I also think when you are in a group setting like that, be mindful. This is considered like a core. So if it's six of y'all in a group, it's six dancers. Think of us as a core group going together. And so, yes, there's going to be energy between us and all that and interaction, but just be mindful, like it's a group, right? So, personal space is important, especially when people are watching and you don't know these folks. Some people they don't like that. So to be safe, just don't jump on no tables. Don't be all up in their face. Um, Try your best just to be 30 minutes to an hour early. And then you don't have to stress about being late, tire, phone, gas, traffic, weather, all of the things that's going to show up when you got to be somewhere. So give yourself plenty of time. If you get there early, great. Get your parking spot and just relax. Sit in the car. Think about what's about to happen. If it's an artist audition, please have listened to their music before you get there. If you know it's a R&B artist audition and you never heard of her, you had to go and listen to something. If it's a country artist and they have an audition and you definitely ain't heard their music, please go listen to the music so that at least there's a reference point that you got before getting there. You don't want to walk into that's like going to take a test and you ain't studied nothing about the subject and you just go take a test. I don't know nothing about this what we about to do, but I'm here. So research the choreographer. If it's an audition for a choreographer that you've never taken class from or never worked with, go research whatever they've done prior to, just so you have reference points. That's easy. You got Instagram, you got Google, YouTube. Do your research, know what's happening before you get there. If it's a period movie, film, TV show, job, whatever, and they telling you to come looking like this certain type of job, like I think they had like Soul Train auditions. So of course you don't want to come looking present day. You want to come looking like the 70s. So that might mean, okay, I might have had to go to Goodwill or somewhere to get some thrift clothes that's going to look like this period. Your goal always and forever will be come looking like the part, as close to the thing. If it's a tour, if it's a movie, TV show, commercial, like if it's a commercial audition, come looking like how the commercial looks. If it's a go look research some of the commercials. What do they wear? What did it look like? What's the vibe and feel? It may not be what you would do personally, but you're going to try to book that job. So you got to go looking like the part. Especially with artists, they don't like trying to assume and figure it out and maybe think how you're gonna look. No, come looking like they dancers, or come looking like, oh yeah, she look good. Like, oh yeah, he looks great. I can see him right next to me. You want them to have that reaction when they see you. You don't want to come halfway done. I want like, there is no doubt, no questions. When you see me, I'm ready. Like literally, we can do this now. I'm ready to step right on camera because y'all are gonna film, so it needs to look like that. Don't assume once you book it, then you're gonna look like the part. No, I'm gonna look the part before I get there. That's your job. Your job is to do the research to make sure you know what you are going after, and it just helps speed up the process. If you are somebody that like needs to feel a certain way at the audition, bring that whatever that is. I feel like I definitely used to wear like a fitted or like I had like a flannel or something that was like, gave me my feeling vibe if it was something that was a personality. So if they tell you to come looking like however you want, what's that look for you? And then of course if they say, oh, I know all black has been the thing, just try to make it feel stylish. Try to, you know, I know black is like, but I don't know, figure it out. But that's important. Your look is important. And making sure that bring like something extra just in case. So sometimes I've been at an audition where I wore what I thought we were going to be doing based on the what, and it ended up like the vibe was not that. I was like, oh, okay, this ain't the feel and vibe I got on to be. So just in case, maybe you thought it was going to be sexy and you got on your tights and whatever, and now y'all like busting hip hop. Hey, let me go throw my sweats on real quick and like try to make this do what it do. So bring extra just in case. Make sure these are clothes, like I said, you have done tried on before, so you ain't worried about it ripping or like, oh shit, I got a hole, and that has happened to dancers all the time because they don't go as hard until they get to the audition. Like, oh, I went real hard, and oh Lord, I done ripped the hole. So you got another pair? No, oh my God, you should have another pair. Have a whole nother outfit with you outside of the dance bag items. For sure, have another outfit just in case. Um, Make sure that, of course, like headshot, resume, and all that's, whatever. Bring, prepare to bring like snacks and stuff like that. When it comes to auditions, depending on what type of audition it is, if it's a quick one and you might be in and out, then cool. But if you don't know, like, what it's looking like, if it's all day. Like they just had a movie audition the other day, and it was all they had different genres all day long. So if you know you're gonna be at those type of settings, making sure that you bring the proper snacks, food or whatever, just kind of do what you can do. But some days are really long, and the worst thing is to be there hungry. And by the time you get ready to audition, you can't even think because the blood has left your brain and you have been dancing all day long, all day long. And now it's time to go. And I don't remember none of these steps. Oh, that is the worst. That is the worst. So that happens. So just have your stuff you need, whatever that is for you. Um, Practice your freestyle before you get there. I've had dancers like not do that, and then they get there and then they try stuff and it's like, oh, that didn't work. I tried to do it, whatever, and it's like so. Practice your freestyle similar to how you would go to class. Instead of taking necessarily a class, which they should have a freestyle class. I hope somebody in Atlanta at least starts that. A freestyle class. That is the class where you just freestyle. It's not you get better at freestyling versus just like trying stuff. And I just encourage you to do that on your own too. Just find pockets of time throughout the week to just practice. Throw on some music. I don't care. It could be in your bedroom, in the bathroom, in the closet, in the kitchen, hallway. Just move outside of doing choreography. Sometimes freestyle boosts you the job before you're dancing. So you want to put as much energy in that as you do dance class, or even in the class, practice freestyling after that routine because that's really where it's going to come in anyway. It's going to come in before and after. So everybody normally does a combo and then they're out. Nobody's freestyling after their routine. Our trail makes y'all do it, I know, in his class. But, I don't know. And if they do, I just don't know. They might. But most of the time it's okay, I do the combo and I'm good. It's like, but that wouldn't really happen at an audition. You are dancing after. You're still dancing. So program yourself to your body to continue to dance because we're not done. You probably are freestyling and transitioning to another position to go again, second verse, here we go, so it's like the reality is you doing a whole song. You're doing the whole song, not that verse or that just that hook. Whole song. So keep dancing, keep moving your body, especially if you're in a class, but at some point at the crib, put on music, all genres, not just hip hop. All genres, all styles. And like I said, the signature look, make sure y'all lock in on that. Make sure your headshot looks like how you look in person. So however that is, if you're like, if you don't have a comp card that shows a variety of it, and you just have like the one headshot, if you're like, hey, I know I'm gonna have my hair like this, make sure you have that photo that matches it so that there's just no confusion. It's more about that versus, oh, I'm like no, it's really about, I just need to connect all the, hey, your Instagram picture, your headshot in person. I filmed you on tape. Oh yeah, that's because I'm telling you, people see you on the audition tape and don't recognize you. God forbid you didn't have a headshot. That it's over. Who was that again? Who was? I don't know. She didn't have a headshot, so it's over. And then they're not about to go look. So we gotta. Hey, I ain't. We're not messing this up. I'm gonna make sure all T's are crossed, I's are dotted. Here is my headshot. Here is me in person. Here's my Instagram because I know you're gonna go on my Instagram page. You're going on the Instagram page, and then you got me on tape. They all look the same. Great. I'm good. I ain't tripping. So I made sure I took care of that. So those are all, things that I just want you to be aware of and mindful of in the audition space. Um, the quicker you kind of like get in and like really hone in on some of those, the better you'll be when it's time to do the auditions. And the easier it will feel, the less stress it'll be. You can really be enjoying it actually, instead of like, oh, you can actually enjoy the audition. You can actually be present and support other people and have great energy, and it's not stuffy, or it's not like, oh Lord, I can't wait to this. It ain't that feeling. And the more you do, the better you get. That's all. Just like class, the more auditions you do, the better you will become, the better auditioner you will become. And so you audition in these areas, but then start thinking bigger and other opportunities. If it's a cattle call or a large audition, that's like, it seems like impossible in your mind, that's the one you need to try to get to. The one that's like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a lot. I think like Daddy Yankee had a big one. That was in LA. They had, I mean, they pop up because these artists is hitting the road. I'll tell you that. They hitting it. They're having really big tours. So they want to see talent, and that's the best way to get out there. Even if you don't book it, it's fine. Just get out there, get in the mix, build that energy, see where you at, see what you need to work on. And the only way to do that is if you actually go. So, okay, now let me go to the chat. Oh, you know what? It was one other thing I wanted to say about auditions. Sometimes less is more. Well, I kind of said it, but sometimes less is more, meaning sometimes you don't have to do what you think you have to do. Sometimes, yes, you got to go full throttle, and then sometimes you don't. So just it's more of the depending on the job. Be aware that, read the room, read the room. What's the vibe? What's the feel? What's the steez? Because if it ain't all that, don't do all that. You ain't gotta do all that. It's not necessary. Even if you feel like I was like, oh, I'm just so used to being full out. Okay, you can still be full out, but controlled. You know, whatever it is, just read the room, read that. What is this type of audition? And know when it's time to turn up. Know when it's time to, okay, I got to push past, my limit. So sometimes it ain't gonna be you battling in that way. It's gonna be, who's gonna have the most control. Okay, so oh, question on typecast. Okay, what was your question, Dominique?
So
On
question was in relation to hair. So for like 3 years, like I had these locks, which is like my signature.
uh-huh.
And specifically for like speaking roles or something for like indie films, or it's like there were a couple where it's like, oh, okay, I was able to be cast and crew and they liked it, but I guess it was like, oh, I wore the locks so long, and it was like, no, that this is my look. Like, but can you? Nobody, I guess, because I wore it so long, it was like, are those her locks? Or so it was like, okay, she ain't gonna cut this lock for this role or whatever. We can't
Mm.
put a wig on that. And I'm like, bruh, no. I got to a point where I was like, the hair can be modified. It's like, are you looking at that? So knowing what my look is, like I've always been a blonde girl,
Mm-hmm.
the locks or like a cute twist or something, and
Mm-hmm.
realm is what I do. But knowing, I guess to your point, should I go the comp card route or what's best? Because TV for my life right now, commercial TV and film, I wouldn't say no to a tour. I've done a cattle call, it's amazing, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's more my lane right now.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. And that's important that you figure out what that is. Like, okay, my lane right now is this. And if you feel like the lots are good and they work and you book, then yes. Like, I mean, I wouldn't steer away from that. Um, and you can always say, yes, the hair, it's always like it's a catch. Okay, so when you say lots, how long are they? What's the
They're
length
not
of them?
long, they're like 18 inches, so and I can manipulate them.
Mm-hmm. I think if you are able to show on the comp card, like how you can wear them different too, that helps. And if that is, and then, okay, this is another thing. You have to also look at your competition. So who would you say is your and I say competition, I don't mean like who you compete against, but yes, who are you competing against for this role? Who are other actresses that you consider you would be going up against? And also, who's booking? What's booking? What roles that you audition for that you end up seeing who they are? Like who do they go with, right? That's important because sometimes you may not know why, and so you have to just figure out, all right, if the if these are the roles that I booked and didn't book, right? If I didn't book these, who you got to go see? I mean, I don't do a lot of acting, but I know like with Kennedy, even stuff that I maybe remember auditioning for, I would always want to go back and see who they ended up going with, just so I can see like, oh, I wonder what they saw. What was the thing, right? That's important. So you got to do your research on that, and then figure it out. Now, I think now with television, it's so multicultural, so it's not like I see everything, all types of hair in television film, especially obviously black TV and film. So what roles are you really wanting to do? Like what shows do you see yourself on? And then go look at those shows. Okay, the black people that's on here, what their hair look like? How do I fit? It's gonna be one of those situations, and then you just have to decide. And of course, you can always like, well, I'm locked in my own hair. I love my locks. This is my look. Okay, and then if you start working, great. If you are not working, then switch it up and see what happens. If you start getting more opportunities, more roles, more castings, then it's hair. You know that plays a role. And it's a subconscious thing sometimes. Like if the characters are whatever in the writer's mind, the casting directors are only selecting people that they feel fits the role based on the character. So we just have to be just aware of that. That's all it is. It's nothing wrong, right or wrong, good or bad. It's more of you have to just be more mindful. You can't just be like, oh, whatever. I'm just not. Because it ain't about talent always either. It's going to be sometimes look.
Because it's like, okay, if I wanted to do, like, when I think of where I am, because I never want to be like pigeonholed to like, oh, she just does heal
Yeah.
this or that. It's like, oh, well, and I know these shows are not aligned in terms of when they came out, but it's like, oh, I wanted to do, dance on Star versus
Yeah.
I wanted to dance on Spirited or Color Purple, which is more like musical. So it's like, how am I showing up or presenting myself so you can see me in that space
Now, I like
before
your
and
look
after dance?
now.
Yeah.
I like your look now. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
So send me also. I guess you can just show me like your other photos. I feel like I saw your locks is on this.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I like those too. I think. Have you tried this hair?
This
Submitting.
I haven't. So I will try. I need to get some headshots with this hair because I was like, maybe I just need to. I'm just gonna have all colors and shades.
I think you should try this look and see. Yeah, like get your hair done how you want it with this look and take photos and that could be the comp card too. It could be that look and your locks so
Okay.
that they see both. And then sometimes they can say, "Hey, how's your hair now?" or something, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So then you'll have the option. But I'm curious to see if you do that look. I'm curious to see how well it does.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Um, okay. Oh, Tracy, I had an audition look question. That was my main question.
Yeah, so I think you answered most of it, but come I did just think of another question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to what Dominique was talking about a couple different looks. So for me, like I'm always like the long hair bust down 28-inch, 26, 28 long hair because I
Mm-hmm.
hairography is part of my whole like steez and stuff. Um, but sometimes I do like full on like jet black with that. And then other times I play a little bit with a lighter tone, like a honey blonde or like a brown. So um I was curious if I have to choose one, if like as I'm starting out on this new journey, or if the comp card thing is the way to go with like having different looks. And does that extend to Instagram where should I have majority of like one look? Because I wear units. So
Mm-hmm.
I can just switch them on and off anytime I want. But um a part of me wonders if I should just stick with one color style, hairstyle for majority or like all of my Instagram moving forward.
Yeah, I would definitely stick with one. The color part is more important than the style. Like you can have a curly brown and then
Okay, cool.
that's long, but it's a straight brown. It's not like black. It's not like a whole nother color. So yeah, if you stick with one color, whichever
Okay.
one you think works though. So but yes, and then the comp card needs to have the same colors. It can't be
Oh,
different colors.
okay. Oh, okay.
The comp card shows the same color aesthetic, not like, okay, for instance, like Lenata's a great example. Like she has her natural, that's a short, right? But it's the same color as the hair she has now. So you're showing the variation, and it depends. Like I'm talking about for comp cards. This is pretty much like what I'm going to look like most of the time for jobs, right? So when I show up now, if they're saying, oh, this job, everybody's going to wear red wig, you don't have to have the photo of yourself in a red wig because you're trying to book this job. It's like they're gonna put you in a red wig regardless of what your hair look like. If it's brown, black, they're gonna tell you come with your hair natural. We're gonna braid it, whatever, and you good. So people, I think everybody would be like, oh, I need to get my hair. I need to have a photo of me with red hair or a photo with me with this type of style or this type of style. No, don't do that. Just whatever your one style is, color is, until you decide you want to switch and change, that's fine. But everything will have to change with it. So you don't want to have an Instagram page that has you with a certain color hair, but your comp card or your headshot is different. And not to say that you can't have that, like, oh, I'm just going to run to the stove. I'm gonna throw on my black wig.
Mhm.
It's like I'm not at an audition. I'm not, dancing on a tour. I'm just going to the store. Yes, wear your black wig. I don't care. It's not that deep. It ain't like everywhere you go, you gotta have that look. I'm talking about when it matters. I'm at this
Mhm.
audition in front of such and such. I need him to know I look like I do on my Instagram and on my headshot. Now, if you catch me out, you know what I'm saying? I might be at the club and I don't have that look on. That's fine. I got my red wig on tonight because I'm not at work. I'm not trying to book a job. I'm just hanging out. Cool, do your thing. But when you stepping into the rehearsal, the
Mhm.
audition, like work, and you got booked based on the look, you need to look like the look that they booked you on.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
not the time to come in changing shit up like, you done dyed your hair purple. What? Oh, I mean, I was feeling like, no, 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 no. Anytime you decide you want to change something, just get permission before, if you got booked on something and they haven't told you what the style is or the look is, and you decide you want to go cut your hair or you want to dye it, no, don't do that. Just get permission first because they may have booked you based on an aesthetic and a look that they are creating. Everybody's involved: hair, makeup, wardrobe, director, producers, artist, what I'm saying, choreographer, creative director. Like, it's not just about your dancing, it's a whole look that they are over. So technically, I mean, they will pay for that though. Like, hey, all of the dancers have to wear ponytails. All the dancers have to get their hair braided. You don't have to do that. They'll do that. But they need to know what their base is so they know what they're booking and what they're working with from the beginning. And once you're booked, you can't go start changing stuff. Continuity, especially TV and film.
Mhm.
Continuity. Oh my God.
Continuity. Yeah.
Jesus, we've had dancers go cut their hair, even guys, like, yeah, no. If you got
Mhm.
dreads, keep them dreads. Don't go cutting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. So yeah, that's what I would say with that. Keep it the same. Let me see. No, no, no. What's the difference between um the difference between the cattle and the private? The
No,
private is like,
the what is it? The submission auditions, but like a live one versus the
mhm.
private.
So like the live one would be like you guys were rehearsing the submission audition number, and then it's time to audition. But we're submitting because we're submitting as a group to. It's more for the choreographer. The choreographer is submitting the choreography. So the choreographer has been selected to submit for this artist, said Beyonce, and here is my number, Beyonce. And then dancers are dancing the number, and it's live, meaning they might be filming it, but we still performing it live. Versus
Oh, okay.
when I go, the submission could have been just dancing and we film it and we did it a bunch of times until we liked it. And then, okay, this the one, we got it, y'all. Versus this is live, this is it. It's one take Jake. If the artist wants to see it again, cool, but it's live. Now, it's the same feeling as a cattle call because that is live too. You are in front of the artist, but that's more of dancers being auditioned versus a choreographer being submitting their choreography. So the artist can actually see, I wonder what my show would look like based on looking at this, piece that they put together. I'm watching it live versus watching a recording. Beyonce's like, I need to feel it. I need to see what I feel like when I watch it. So yeah, that's the main difference. But I
Okay.
mean, all of them are great, regardless whether it's live or taped. It's a great opportunity to, get practice.
Thank you.
hmm Um, how can you tell when it's time to be on? Yeah, you'll like I say you'll know because it's based on the job. Obviously if it's a TV show and it's not, that's the choreo's not giving that. So then you just know I'm the choreo is giving it's a tango scene and it's sexy and intimate and whatever. So that's the energy. Okay, the energy for Meg Stallion audition more than likely is gonna be turned up. So you will absolutely know. And then what I mean by the energy within the group is, yeah, although Meg is turned up, and we going for blood, even there still like, I don't have to like I said, the jumping on the table or what I'm saying, just doing stuff that is maybe okay, that's a lot. So you'll know. You won't even have to guess, but you'll feel the energy what's needed. And then of course, if the choreographer is like, I need more, give me more energy, then okay, give them more energy. But figure out what that is for you. That might be, okay, I gotta do another jump split. Okay. I'm like, good luck. I gotta, hey, you better get that backflip in there. Yeah, I gotta do something. Figure out something creative. I know I've seen a dancer. Bria did this at a step honey audition. She started in the tennis shoes and she had practiced her freestyle because somehow her heels showed up and she worked into the heels and now she's dancing in her heels. So she's freestyling. Now she got her heels on. And this was a hip hop routine. So, figure out something magical that everybody, I remember that. And that was a gazillion years ago. So figure out something that is memorable, that they'll be like, oh, I remember the girl that, whatever that is. She did a handstand on the wall and like I don't know. She did something cool with her back or that's the stuff that people talk about. They don't necessarily say they killed the choreo. I mean, they say that they killed the choreo, but it's something else that had to have happened for them to be like, I remember. I remember Desi on her chest and circling around and or jumping up in the sky. I remember. I remember somebody grabbing a leg and turning, and then they plop down to the split. Like you had to figure. I remember somebody taking a wig off, and I don't know. Like it's whatever your thing is. You just gotta like figure it out. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's it. That's auditions. That's pretty much the world that you are going to be in. If you're not in there already, some of y'all are already in there, but you'll be in there as long as there are auditions. You should be happy. That means work is happening. That means somebody is booking somebody. That means a project is going on. And they're giving opportunity because they don't have to. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of jobs that never have auditions, and you just see the job and you just see people on it, and you don't even know how they got there. They probably didn't have auditions. So that's how we get into the networking and building relationship part where you don't have to audition and then you just get your availability checked. That's the goal. Yes, I just want to get my bail checked and that's it. I don't want to audition. But until you get there, let's just figure out how to get better at auditions and how to make the most of them so that you can, just get better at it. Cool skill. Okay. Well, that's all on auditions. And we will be getting right on into it because I think my favorite section is next on talking just about how once y'all book the job. Okay, we booked it. Great. Okay, everybody, what job did we just book? Let's see. What Super Bowl? Let's go back to Super Bowl. We back at Super Bowl. Okay. We back at Super Bowl. We just booked Super Bowl. Y'all went through this crazy auditions. Now we about to start rehearsals. Here we go. We about to start rehearsals. Here comes the job. Here comes the job. Here comes. Now the job is started. Audition was fun. Great. Awesome. That was good. Now comes rehearsals. So we'll get all into that next. But yeah, you guys have an amazing rest of your night and be safe if you guys are in weather that's crazy. I know we are here in Atlanta. Hopefully it clears up. But yeah, so I will be talking to you guys on Thursday.
Yay, thank
Thank
you.
Bye.
you.
So
Yeah.
much.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.